Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Chem Insider. This will be the last topic of the video for the electrochemistry chapter, that is where we are discussing about batteries. So batteries are those materials or substances which convert chemical energy to electrical energy. Okay, usually a battery may contain one cell or more than one cell, and in some cases these batteries convert those chemical energy to electrical energy in when they can be reused again. Like for example, in some batteries we can use it for once and you have to discard them, and in some batteries you may use that in once again which we are recharging the particular battery once again. Therefore, depending upon that particular life cycle of a battery, batteries are classified into two types. Those are primary batteries and secondary batteries. One is primary battery or primary cells. The second one being secondary cells. One is primary cell or primary batteries, or the other one is called the secondary cell or secondary battery. Usually cells make up a battery. Okay, batteries are made up of one or more cells. Now, out of the primary cells, what we say is primary cells are those type of cells which can be used just for once. That is, if the chemical reaction happening in the primary cell ends up completely, then the life of that particular battery cell is done. You have to discard it, you cannot reuse it. But in case of secondary cells, what we observe is when you pass electric current to those batteries once they are completely consumed in an opposite direction, they again recharge themselves, which can be used later once again. Like for example, inverters or automobile batteries. Okay. Whereas in case of the primary cells, like for examples of batteries which you use for watches or wall clocks, something remote cells, those are one time usable. Okay, even though you might use those cells with a rechargeable device, but what happens is the entire life cycle of a particular battery will be reduced completely. Okay, so depending upon that particular classes, we classify batteries into two types. One are primary cell and the other one being the secondary cell. Now for first one, the primary cell. Primary cells are those devices which once they are completely done with the reaction are ended with their life cycle, which cannot be further reused. There are two types of particular cells which we use in our daily life. One are the remote cells which we use for the elongated like this one, and one which we use for the watches and hearing aids like this small one which comes in a silver cap, and the other one is the normal cells. You use, if you can use a everyday cell or a Durex cell, the will be like this stuff, elongated one. So what we observe over here is we are using two different types of metals in here. If you are using for a cell used for watches, we will be using zinc amalgam. Whereas if you are using for a normal device cells like remote cells or wall clock cell, that will be consisting of zinc and carbon. So what is the reaction happening over here in this case of the first one of this type of cell is, this is a zinc and carbon cell. Zinc carbon cell. This is zinc and mercuric amalgam cell. Zinc Hg cell. This is a zinc carbon cell. So what we do is we take a carbon rod, that is a graphite rod, at the center of a zinc cup. Okay, so the overall white light which I have written over here is a zinc cup. So we take a zinc container. Inside that container, we'll place a carbon rod, that is a graphite rod at the center. Graphite rod at the center, which acts as cathode. The graphite rod at the center acts as cathode, and the container itself, the zinc container or the zinc cup, which we call it in a normal way, the zinc cup acts as anode. The zinc cup acts as anode, and between these two, between the carbon electrode, carbon cathode and the zinc anode, we use a paste of zinc oxide and zinc chloride and ammonium chloride paste. We use zinc chloride and ammonium chloride paste. We use zinc chloride and ammonium chloride paste between these two, along with a dust of manganese oxide, MnO2, along with some dust of manganese oxide, we use zinc chloride and ammonium chloride paste present between these two cathode and anodes. Okay, so what will be the reaction happening in this case? The reaction happening over here is at cathode, first at anode, the metal zinc undergoes oxidation to form metal ion. Zinc undergoes oxidation to form Zn2 plus loss of 2 electron. Okay, with the loss of 2 electron. At cathode, what happens is the manganese oxide dust undergoes reduction. The MnO2 here is Mn with a +4 charge. Okay, MnO2 in the dust is where Mn is of the +4 oxidation state, undergoes reduction to form +3 oxidized Mn along with the NH4 compound. So MnO2 reacts with NH4 plus ion in the presence of electron, forms MnOHO. MnOHO. Okay, here the Mn is in +3 oxidation state along with the liberation of ammonia. This reaction is at the cathode. So at anode, what happens is zinc undergoes oxidation to form Zn2 plus, liberating 2 electrons, which electrons react with the manganese oxide and ammonium ions present at the cathode, where the manganese, which is at the +4 oxidation state, the manganese in this MnO2 is of +4 oxidation state, will be reduced to +3 oxidation state. So now, where will the NH3 go? NH3 reacts with zinc 2 plus, Zn2 plus reacts with ammonia to form a complex called ZnNH3 4 times. It forms a complex of ZnNH3 4 times complex. Okay, so this particular cell of zinc carbon using a manganese oxide and ammonium chloride salt has a cell potential of 1.5 volts. The cell potential of a primary cell of zinc carbon cell is 1.5 volts. So what happens in this particular cell is at anode, where we taken the zinc cup as an anode, undergoes oxidation to form Zn2 plus liberating 2 electrons. Those 2 electrons react with MnO2 and NH4 plus, leading to the reduction of +4 oxidized Mn to +3 oxidized to Mn. Hence, the overall reaction will lead to a potential of 1.5 volts. Okay, so this is about the primary cell of zinc carbon cell. Next is, what about the zinc and mercury cell? So the zinc mercury cell has 3 layers in it. So the first one, the top one, is the zinc amalgam. The top one is zinc amalgam, which acts as anode. It acts as anode. And the bottom layer is the manganese oxide, mercuric oxide. The bottom layer is a mercuric oxide, which acts as cathode. Okay, so the reaction takes place as such. Zinc of Hg, reacts to form ZnO along with the OH minus ions. So here the anode and cathode are separated by a mixture of potassium hydroxide and zinc oxide electrolyte. Here potassium hydroxide and zinc oxide are mixed to form an electrolyte which acts as a separator between anode and cathode. So the OH minus ions of potassium hydroxide reacts with zinc amalgam. Here zinc amalgam means only zinc will be reacting, mercury will not be reacting in the reaction, it will just present as a adsorbate. So zinc anode, zinc reacts with the Hg to form ZnO along with the liberation of H plus and electrons. Okay, along with the liberation of H plus and electrons, which may lead to the formation of H2O also. Some cases it may form H2O, the loss of electrons. Okay, so at cathode, what we observe is the mercuric oxide reacts with water formed in the anode and along with the electrons and forms Hg along with formation of 2 OH minus ions. So this is the reaction. So the overall reaction of this particular secondary primary cell of mercury can be written as zinc amalgam plus HgO forms zinc oxide plus Hg. Okay, so this is the reaction of the primary cell of mercuric type. So now what happens over here is, due to this overall cell reaction, the cell potential of mercuric cell is found to be 1.35 volt. Cell potential of zinc mercury cell is 1.35 volt. So these are the two examples for primary cell. Okay, so the primary cells, which can be used as zinc carbon cell, which we use in remotes and wall clocks, and the zinc mercury cell, which we use for the watches and hearing aids or simple devices. Okay, so usually the primary cells are always a galvanic cells because it involves a zinc as an anode in it. Okay, the cathode may be different, but it always uses zinc as an anode in it. So these are the two examples for primary cells. Next, we will discuss about the secondary cells. Now, for the secondary cells, we have two examples for secondary cell. One is lead oxide secondary cell, PbPbO2 secondary cell, and the other one is nickel cadmium secondary cell. Okay, so we don't have to discuss much about the nickel cadmium secondary cell, but we have to explain more about the lead oxide secondary cell. So you might have observed this type of a cell in automobiles or inverters, right? So what do we have in this particular secondary cell is, we have multiple layers of anode, cathode, and a separator and an electrolyte. Okay, so if you observe carefully, we have 4 different colors in this particular layers. So the first one is, if you consider for this orange line, so this orange layer indicates the separator. Orange layer indicates a separator between a complete cell. Okay, so separator of one cell by the other one. Now the white one is the cathode. White one is the cathode of lead oxide, PbO2. Okay, the white layer is the cathode layer of PbO2. The red layer is anode. The red layer is anode of the metal lead Pb. And the yellow layer is the solution of H2SO4, which acts as electrolyte. Yellow layer is the electrolyte solution of 38% H2SO4. So these are the multiple layers which are present inside a inverter's battery or automobile battery. So each of this bunch will be called a cell or a secondary cells. So these cells have Pb, that is metal lead, as anode, and we have metal lead covered by a metal lead oxide which acts as cathode, and those two are separated by an electrolyte of 38% H2SO4, and each of the cells are separated by a separator which is in pleasant lattice. Okay, so now what happens in this particular reaction? So when you connect these two at anode, the reaction taking place is lead reacts with the SO4 2- ion on sulfuric acid. Lead reacts with the SO4 2- ions present in the sulfuric acid to form lead sulfate, PbSO4, along with the liberation of 2 electrons. Okay. At the same time, cathode also has the same type of reaction where lead oxide, PbO2, will be reacting with SO4 2-. PbO2 will be reacting with SO4 2- to form PbSO4, along with 2 hydrogen ions. Okay, so H2SO4 with PbO2 forms PbSO4 and a molecule of water. Okay, so this will be the reaction taking place at cathode. So if you write down the overall reaction can be Pb plus PbO2 along with 2 molecules of sulfuric acid leads to the formation of 2 molecules of PbSO4 and 2 molecules of water. So this will be the reaction. So if you observe carefully, in the primary cells, what we had was, one was giving a product which was later in the second reaction, which was later used in the second reaction to form a derived different product. But in the secondary cells, what we observe is both at anode and cathode will be preparing the same product PbSO4. Okay, so here Pb reacts with SO4 2 minus to form PbSO4, whereas in the second step we'll be considering PbO2 reacting with SO4 2 minus in presence of H2 plus ions to form again PbSO4. So now anode and cathode both are reacting to form a same product. Okay, so this particular reaction is the cell reaction for secondary cells. Once all the lead and lead oxide taken in the inverter's battery or automobile battery completely is consumed, what we do is we pass current through the opposite direction. Okay, we pass current through the opposite direction, so the whole reaction will be reversed. Once you pass current to the opposite direction, the whole reaction will be reversed. So then what happens is PbSO4 breaks down to form Pb at the anode, and the same PbSO4 will break down to form PbO2 at cathode. So leading to the reaccumulation of lead and lead oxide, which further can take away one more cycle. Similarly, we'll carry out this particular multiple times of the cycles in order to reuse the battery by recharging it. If we use these type of cells where we can recharge the batteries by reversing the chemical reactions which is happening to provide electrical energy in the first place, then those type of cells we call them as secondary cells. So these secondary cells have specific property, that is, it can be reused by charging electric current through them but in the opposite direction. The second example is a nickel cadmium cell where we use nickel as a positive layer and cadmium as a negative layer. So both these two are separated by a separator. Okay, this will be the simple nickel cadmium layer separation. Okay, so this is all about the primary cells and secondary cell, and especially about the batteries. I hope you have understood all these concepts. From this, we'll be ending with the particular syllabus of electrochemistry. Okay, so this is all about for today. I hope you have understood these concepts. If you do, please do subscribe to my channel and share this video among your friends. Thank you for watching.